Hello and welcome, fellow students. My name is Jens, and I am one of the hosts here on Korko Academy. Steph and I created this channel in hopes of producing comprehensive, useful tutorials on how to become more Korki individuals, as well as share our experiences navigating today's world with Korki aspirations. If you have no clue what Korko or Korki means, fear not, the lingo of this academy is limited as of yet. Korko is short for Korkolis, a nickname a junkie gave one of our friends. This friend in question, Korko, the original, or the first, was and still is a constant aspiration of mine and of my friends, due to the way he conducts himself. That said, he is, of course, only human, and not only that, his personality makeup is quite different from ours. So, this academy is not built around the idea of merely copying an individual, but rather on the goal of understanding, articulating, defining, and trying to live by the values of the ideal Korko, the human that is of the highest possible caliber and freedom, male or female. A person, therefore, is characterized as Korki or non-Korki according to their allegiance with the main Korko values. I will now share with you these main values as best as I have yet defined them, which, to me, make up a Korki individual. Value number 1. Don't give a shit unless necessary. One of the defining characteristics of a Korki individual is their ability to not be bothered by situations or things that should not affect them. Being a neurotic, anxious person, like myself, means being very easily stressed, often excessively, by situations that, by my very own standards, do not actually require my time, energy, or even attention. Of course, the problem is that it is often very hard to tell which things you should pay attention to and which you shouldn't. The Korki technique to employ under these circumstances is to start by actively ignoring the situation in question. In other words, act, to the extent that you are able to, as if the danger is not real. This way, the anxiety-inducing situation either doesn't occur at all, sometimes, or it manifests itself in a way that is very often much different to what you had in mind. Thus, you are now capable of reacting to similar situations in the future based on your experience and not on vague, scary preconceptions. Examples/homework. Miss a day of work. Or 2. Miss a day of school on purpose. Tell someone something you're really ashamed about. Ignore a warning by a friend or a parent. Kill your time instead of doing something to make yourself believe you're productive. Moving on, value number 2. An extension, in a way, of value number 1. Hurt people/treat people badly/dare to interact with people, and apologize for your behavior after the fact if you feel like you should. It very often appears as though other people will react in a very negative way to behaviors of yours that you like to manifest. Whether it be a significant other, a friend, a teacher, a parent, a grocery store clerk, a stranger, one often feels that if they act in the way that is in accordance with their true feelings, the other person or people will react in a very negative way and the consequences will be dire. That is sometimes the case, but rarely true. More often than one thinks, people are relatively understanding, caring, relieved, and happy that you shared with them your truth, assuming you have made your point relatively, gently, caringly, and lovingly. If that's not the case, they generally react much more mildly than one had predicted, which opens up the ground for negotiation. If, in fact, the other person reacts strongly and absolutely to your truth in a way that turns away the dynamic of negotiation, maybe they should not be in one's life at all. Examples/homework. Compliment a stranger on their style. Gently flirt with someone you like. Tell your parents a hard truth about you that they didn't know. Treat someone badly for once and see where that goes. Moving on. Closely related to value number 2 is value number 3. Be human. You are one, anyway. Embrace this humanity, this great potential for good and evil, and try to tell these two apart by your own standards. Remember, in order to be a hero, you might need to be a villain first. Of course, one aims to be a hero, but this should come as a result of experience and maturity, rather than as a result of obsessive or cowardly thinking. Dare to make mistakes and try to act in a way so that you know that something is a mistake before you put it out of your equation for good. Dare to go against your conscience if you feel like there is something important for you to learn by doing so. Also, sometimes you just don't give a shit and you do bad things that you know to be mistakes. That's okay too. You're only human after all. Just do try to apologize. Value number 4. Do things. Really, just go out into the world, the real world, outside your house and your mind, and have your adventure, man. Oftentimes, we face problems and challenges in our lives that feel insurmountable, impossible, and a good reason to give up on it all. Your mind has, depending on the person, very, very good ways to keep you depressed, scared, lonely, and self-destructive, or auto-catastrophic. What is not so obvious is that you're also equipped with a set of neural links that are designed to be activated as soon as you decide to face a problem voluntarily. In dire situation, this might seem like an ineffective, stupid idea, not to mention an impossible stretch, but do try before you reject it to take a problem that you're ignoring but are enveloped in, to try to analyze and articulate it properly, to then come up with strategies on how to overcome it, and to then implement a plan with this goal in mind. Of course, more often than not, your plan will be stupid and or ill-informed, just like you, just like all of us. But that's okay. Hatch a bad plan. In fact, it's not only okay, but it is also necessary, considering that the problem will rarely solve itself, or solve itself in a way that is beneficial to your and other people's lives. With the adventurous part of your mind feeding you courage, dopamine, and faith, you now have something to counterbalance depression, anger, resentment, and hopelessness. Your bad plan, once implemented, will reveal aspects of the problem unknown and unknowable beforehand, and your second and third plan will hopefully be more effective. Take your time puzzle-solving life. You don't really have much else to do anyway. Examples/homework. Start exercising. Flirt actively. Learn a skill, a language, cursive, or the guitar. Sit and write about something that concerns you deeply. Reminder: never do things because you are told you have to by someone else. Only you reserve the right to make that judgment, and the things that you are encouraged to do in this video should be a result of your own picked interest in something or a result of dire circumstances. Value number 5. Learn to relax. Overthinking or succumbing to OCD is rarely a wise decision, although something that many of us often can't help. A very good way to deal with and counterbalance these awful tendencies is to come up with your own personal way to relax. Whether it be looking at the ceiling, lying on your bed, taking a shower, listening to music whilst enjoying a pretty view, or meditating, learning to let the thoughts come and go as they please offers you the opportunity to see things more clearly. It also allows you to endure negative emotions and exist with them in a more harmonious environment. Turn off your phone, PC, and tablet. Pick a spot and sit, stand, or lie thinking. Or not even that, just exist for a while, if you got it in you. Moving on. Value number 6. Become a hero of your own design. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to preach sacred truths and golden rules, nor is Steph. At the end of the day, we're just young adults, me relatively clueless, trying to figure this out. That's why our intrinsic or even exoteric differences have to be accounted for whilst hatching a life plan and attempting to become the corkiest Korko we aspire to become. Just because I consider this or that important doesn't mean you should too, or just because certain good and bad behaviors manifest themselves through me naturally doesn't mean they can or should through you. Craft your own standards. Discover your already existing values and change the ones you don't seem to get along with. Figure out your own criteria for a Korki individual, for a hero, for a villain, and act accordingly. Don't be afraid to explore the edges of your personal mythology. Pay attention to people you admire and try to replicate their admirable qualities, forgetting about the rest. Only you are gonna live your life anyway, nobody else. So it should be fairly obvious that you are the protagonist of your story. Finally, and above all, value number 7, tell the truth, or at least your truth. As much as you can, not feel like, share with other people aspects of your existence, like your past, your goals, your current feelings, etc. Honestly, truthfully, and responsibly whenever you feel it necessary. You'll have to listen to your conscience for that, so you better not stuff it with shit. The only way you can be yourself and that other people can form relationships with you is through telling the truth. Otherwise, you're living the life of somebody else, someone you're not, and worse, someone who doesn't actually exist, and people form relationships with that non-existing person. That will be all for today's Korko Academy video. In future videos, you will meet Steph, my lovely and dashingly handsome co-host. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for future videos, in which I will share with you my research on trying to be Korki in my hometown of Thessaloniki, Greece. Have a good one.